Okay, let me begin, ladies and gentlemen, by welcoming everyone here to AUKMIN 2022 in the spectacularly beautiful city of Sydney, at the spectacularly beautiful venue of Admiralty House. And let me also acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we're meeting and pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and also acknowledge and thank Uncle Alan for his welcome here to the four of us this morning to Camaragal land. I also want to acknowledge and thank Their Excellencies, the Governor-General and Mrs Hurley, who have allowed us to meet here at Admiralty House, surrounded, in my opinion, as a Sydney-sider, by one of the world's most beautiful views. It was our absolute pleasure to host the 11th AUKMIN with our very good friends from the United Kingdom, Foreign Secretary Liz Truss and Defence Secretary Ben Wallace. It's fitting that our first 2+2 ministerial meeting in person in Australia since COVID began has been with such close and long-standing partners. It's also been invaluable, coming at a time when we all face numerous strategic challenges, whether that is the rising assertiveness in the Indo-Pacific, or whether it is Russian aggression on the Ukraine border. At the same time, as governments, we are also managing the ongoing COVID pandemic. Here in the Pacific, we're responding to unforeseen disasters, such as the volcanic eruption and tsunami that has devastated Tonga, with whom Australia is supporting cooperation with others, including the United Kingdom. And I do want to take a moment here to acknowledge the Tongan government's efforts in the face of this catastrophic event and the devastation that it has caused, and also the work of our many partners providing support, including particularly New Zealand and France through the invaluable FRANZ partnership of France, Australia and New Zealand, always strong in the face of humanitarian adversity in the Pacific. We have agreed today that the way we meet such an array of challenges is by working more closely together, even more closely together. As liberal democracies, we are natural partners in countering the influence of malign authoritarianism, in standing up for human rights, in maintaining the international rules-based order. Certainly our values accommodate working with different political systems, for all of whom, though, the sovereignty of their own country is fundamental. But they don't allow for unbridled assertiveness or aggression by authoritarian states who would deny others that sovereignty or their own strategic choices. That's not something that can be tolerated by democracies looking to maintain an international system that is open and stable and prosperous. By standing clearly on our values, our interests and sovereignty, we can give confidence to others, which is a matter Australia considers to be very important and something we have discussed today. We've talked about how we achieve this practically. In particular, we can support the resilience of those countries in fields in which they might be vulnerable to malign influence or coercion. Areas such as cybersecurity and critical technology, infrastructure, trade, economics and defence. Secretary Truss and I share a strong appreciation for the importance of supporting the development of infrastructure in the Indo-Pacific that is sustainable and climate adapted, that drives economic growth and achieves genuine development goals. Yesterday we signed an infrastructure investment MOU and a cyber and technology partnership, perfect examples of how we are cementing that practical cooperation. We have today also discussed at length dangerous disinformation and how we can work more closely together in countering the narratives of authoritarian actors who seek to undermine our efforts to promote openness and stability. And finally, I think it's important to emphasise the inclusiveness of our approach. The UK and Australia have a vital relationship. We're forming new structures of cooperation through arrangements such as AUKUS with the United States. All of these promote peace and contribute to the resilience of nations in the Indo-Pacific. But there is strong value in flexibility. The Quad grouping between Australia, India, Japan and the United States, for example, aligns well with UK priorities in the Indo-Pacific. We have both recently deepened our relationships, respectively, with ASEAN And we've both made clear that there is scope for AUKUS to work in alignment with other countries in some of the key technology and national security fields of artificial intelligence, quantum and cyber. Today's discussions have gone a long way towards deepening our practical action together. Our own sovereignty, security, our prosperity rely on this now and into the future. I particularly want to thank the Foreign Secretary and the Defence Secretary for travelling to Australia. You are always welcome. I want to thank Minister Dutton for co-hosting the AUKMIN with me here in Sydney. It has been 2 days of excellent cooperation and planning, and I certainly look forward to doing even more together.